Guys, welcome back to my channel. I am having a real issue lately, apparently either having my intros completely corrupted or just blatantly forgetting to film them, which is the case for this video. So this video is not going to be this look, but it is going to be a requested look that I had from my K-beauty video that I filmed a few months ago. And I had a few comments saying they wanted to see this look that I did in that video. So that's what we're gonna do. This is my intro with a completely different look. But if you wanna see that actual most requested look, then let's go ahead and jump into that one. Let's take care of these under eyes, shall we? I used a corrector on this day that I haven't used in a while, but it remains a favorite for a reason. The Fit Glow Beauty Peach Corrector. And when I use this one, I really only need the tiniest amount in the inner corner, and then when I take my brush, which the BK Beauty 110 brush is the one I like to kind of tap this in with, I really just kind of keep it there because that's where the darkest, oh my goodness. I just started this video and I can't speak. That is where I have the most darkness. Okay, there we go. And then I will take whatever's kind of left on the brush and tap it out. This is definitely a darker peach than, say, my Chantecaille Stilo, my Clinique airbrush, but it's also fuller coverage in my opinion. Now for complexion, this was filmed during the time where I was trying out different combinations with my Isden skin drops. I did a whole video on these. I will put a link up in a card if you haven't seen it, because this is truly one of my very favorite complexion products because of how versatile they are when you mix them with other products. Now, I was asked how they compare to the, I think it's Dermablend drops, and I've mentioned this before. I have not tried those, so I can't say. All I know is that I have had a lot of people tell me they have purchased this after watching that video, and they absolutely love them. So I am in this shade Sand, and for that video, I mixed it in with my Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40, and I'm in the shade for this Portaferro, which is ST10. If I'm just using this product, I really like to just use my hands to apply it. But when mixing this in, which provides more coverage, because this is a very sheer foundation or serum, tinted serum product on its own, I will start using my hands and then I probably will go in using a brush just to kind of stipple everything in and make sure there's no streak marks. Now, I do not rely on the Ilia to be my only SPF. I do have the Skin 1004 SPF on already, which is the same SPF I had on in that video. Couple reasons that I don't rely on the Ilia. I don't use enough to get the actual SPF 40 protection. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't. And also I'm mixing the Isden drops. So I do not rely on an SPF if I'm gonna mix anything in with it, because that can alter the protection of the SPF. So I like to have my SPF in the purest form that it comes in straight out of the bottle. The Ilia also on its own is very dewy, and you can still see that dew. I'm gonna take a brush just to kind of press it in. But I do find that the Isden drops bring that dewiness down just a tad. And it definitely ups the coverage because again, by itself, it's a very sheer product on me. But with the drops, I just really like this combination. I forgot how much I liked it, so I'm glad that I'm being forced to do this video because it's reminding me and I definitely will be using it more. Now for concealer, I used my good old Chantecaille Future Skin Gel Foundation in the shade Vanilla for concealer. I did just order the new Natasha Denona concealer. I've heard really good things about that. So I'm going to be trying that out. I'll let you know what I think about that because I do think y'all get a little tired of me talking about the same exact thing, even though I use the same exact thing 95% of the time. But I also know that part of what I do on this channel is review products for y'all. So I am gonna be trying out the Natasha Denona one, I'll let you know. But in this particular video, this is the one that I used and I set it with my Ilia powder. So I'm gonna do that real quick off camera because y'all don't care to watch that. Now to set my face, I used my Aéropérez Corn translucent powder. This is the old packaging, but I still have this and I think one more backup. I believe the last time I bought them before they kind of reformulated and repackaged, I bought 3 of them. So I kind of just started using this one. So I'm set for a good little bit, but I'm just going to take my La Mer powder brush and press that in so you can see. It just does such a good job. It doesn't take every single bit of luminosity away, but it sure does bring the dew down to the perfect amount for me and my preferences, which is why I love this so much. But I also know that as the day goes on, that radiance is going to start coming back more. And I think even by the time I'm done with the makeup, you're going to see how that happens. So it's not something that's going to necessarily control oil for the entire day, especially if you have super oily skin. I just love how it works with every single foundation product that I use. Every single one. I have not tried a single one in the over a year that I have been loving that powder that it has not worked with. Now the bronzer that I used, I think this is being discontinued, y'all. I used it in a video. I didn't use it in a video. I had it on in a video a couple of weeks ago. And when I went to go link it, it was like sold out everywhere, everywhere. Even the Laura Mercier website. So it leads me to believe that they are discontinuing this. But this is the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Bronzer in Bronze 03. I love this stuff. I don't know if you can tell when you get it, it's got like a very nice little dome to it. There is no dome left. I'm just waiting to hit pan. I'm going to use my Sigma Ultimate Bronze Brush, which is F78. And I love this stuff. I have an almost brand new one in the shade 2 on my blog sale because it was just a little too light for me. But this one's perfect. And I'm really sad that if it is in fact being discontinued, that I'm not going to be able to repurchase it. Because again, I am getting low on this pan. It is a warmer color, but it's just so pretty. I think just because it's a baked product, it really lends to like a skin-like effect. Have always loved it. Have always loved how it looks on the skin. So if you're able to find one of these, be sure and pick it up. And if you're able to find one in the shade 3, let me know so I can pick it up. All right, I'm using a cream highlight, so I'm gonna do blush next. And this is the Dior Rouge Blush in New Look 47. I also think Dior reformulated their blushes. It's like I'll open my drawers and I'm like, yeah, I can talk about these, but it's not the same because these companies are reformulating and reproducing their products at a rapid pace. And I don't know if it's because they're like, well, we can't think of anything new to put out. Let's just reformulate something so we have something to market. I don't know. But I'm like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's my thing, but obviously no one asked me. So this is in the shade number 219. This is actually a limited edition packaging where it had like the mannequins on it, but you can get 219 otherwise in the regular packaging. I just don't know if it's gonna be the same formulation as this, but this is the blush that I used. And it's a very pretty peachy pink. I chose this because of the eye colors that we're going to be using. I just feel like it really matches well. And there's a slight sheen to it, so you don't technically need a separate highlight. I mean, I'm going to use one, but if you're someone that doesn't like to use highlight but likes a little bit of a sheen to the cheeks, this is a good one to look at. I opened my brand new one today, y'all. There's nothing quite like a brand new Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. It's just so pretty. This is in Radiant Light. So I'm gonna, again, because I'm using a buff, y'all, I can't speak. I was about to say because I'm using a buff, because I'm buffing my face. Apparently I can't do 2 things at once. Because I'm using a cream highlight, I'm gonna buff now. If I were to use the cream highlight and then go in and do this, the brush would catch on the cream and it would not buff correctly and I would end up having highlight all over my face. Now we're gonna use my Merit highlight stick in Kava. This is what I had on. You know what? Did I have on this color or did I have on Bounce? No, I had on Kava. Okay. So if you've never seen me apply this, I just put it on the ring finger and middle finger and just slightly tap it in, starting up at the hairline, going down towards the edge of the eye. Ugh. I love this product so much. I say it every time, and I mean it every time. So Probably gonna keep saying it. For the eyes, I used the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette, and I have to say, I feel like I get the most compliments on videos, especially when I'm wearing this palette. I don't know if it's because of the colors and how they work with blue eyes, because this is great for blue eyes, it's great for brown eyes, it's great for green eyes. Honestly, every eye color would benefit from this palette, but this is what it looks like. Beautiful, summery colors. Now, I don't record exactly what shades I use when I write down what I have on in every video, but I'm pretty sure I remember what I used. I typically start out with Morgan, which is this kind of matte peachy shade right here in the crease, no matter what I'm doing in this palette. So I'm taking a Refer 15 and applying that in the crease. One thing that I notice with Natasha Denona formulas across the board, especially, well, at least in these palettes, is that whatever the shade looks like in the palette or in the pan, it's going to come off a little bit darker on the eye, at least on mine. And that's with every single shade that I have used in all of her palettes. The Biba palette, the Sunrise palette, the Bronze palette, the Glam palette. So something to keep in mind if you're new to this formula, and maybe that doesn't happen on your eyes, but again, it does on mine. Now, for the lid color, I typically always go in with one of these 4 shades right here. And I believe for this one, I went in with Awakening first, which is this shade right here. And it's kind of like a purpley, pinky, almost duochrome shade. And I always start out with a brush on these, but really the shimmers are best applied with your finger, in my opinion. So I put like a little crumb coat, I like to call it, and then take the color on my finger, and you'll be able to see how much more gets laid down when you do it that way. And I'm pretty sure I went in with Laurel, which is this shade right here, which is like a champagne-y gold type shade, and just tap that on the middle of the lid. There is something about every single time I sit down to film, UPS or FedEx one comes, and this one throws a complete hissy fit, which I'm not mad about because that's his guard dog duties, but it's every time I film. I'm gonna mix Clove and Glory. So these 2 shades right here on a Refer 28 brush, and I am going to lightly tap those into the outer corner. I like mixing this super pink shade in the summer, but mixing it in with this Clove helps dial it down some. And then I'm just gonna take Clove on a Refer 29 and use that as a liner. This is a really pretty shade if you're someone that doesn't like a harsh black line, especially again for this time of the year. And then I'm gonna take the Sigma E42 Precision Firm Blender and use that under my eyes. And I honestly can't remember what I did. So I am basically going to mix the 2 shades that I mixed in my outer corner with a little bit of this Morgan that I used in the crease. And I'm just going to dip, 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 back and forth. When in doubt, mix it out. It's kind of my motto. I will do mascara off camera, but I used my Chantecaille mascara, so I'm gonna do that real quick, and then we'll be back to finish off with lips and fragrance. Okay, so lips in that video, I had on one of my favorite Fit Glow Beauty Cloud Collagen lipstick balms. I had talked about these in a favorites video. I've used them in videos. There's been a couple of people saying that they are too drying on the lips. I do think balm is a little misleading. They are very matte, which I have talked about every time I've mentioned them. And I always wear a gloss over them. So I have had no issues with them drying out my lips. And I love the color range. For this day, I used the shade Calla. And my favorite way to use these is to just tap them on the lips because they are extremely pigmented. So just tap a little bit, rub together so you can see the color that it has on my lips. And then I'll swatch it on my hand and you can see the difference in why I tap. See how pigmented that is? Very, very pigmented, which is not a bad thing. but when I tap like this, it's the perfect amount of color. Now, I always wear a gloss. One of my favorite glosses to wear over this is the Wayne Goss gloss. I always get tongue-tied saying that, in the shade Tulip. And those mixed together just give the perfect color for me, which I love because it's nude. Let's be real. You're always gonna see some kind of nude lipstick on me, but I like how it almost has like a warm undertone to it, which I feel like really matches the eyes. Now, the only thing left is a fragrance, and I'm going to be redundant in my favorites video this month because I will be talking about one of these fragrances, and it is the Kiss Delicia de Marshmallow. Now, I have talked about this before, and it's a beautiful, like sweet, fluffy marshmallow scent. But I have been using this every day for the past week, mixed, layered with something else. And I find that I love it the most layered with stronger floral perfumes. So today, I've already put on my perfume, and I'm going to share with you what I used. I used my Javoy Touche Finale perfume. This is a gorgeous mimosa scent. If you like the scent of mimosa flower, this is definitely one to try out. It is absolutely beautiful. Mimosa is one flower that for some reason takes me back to my childhood. I have yet to correlate why. I don't think we had like mimosas growing in our yard, but maybe there's something about it that takes me back. So it's one of the most nostalgic notes in perfumery for me. And I love this perfume so much. But this perfume layered with this, perfection. Absolute perfection. So that's what I have on today for my fragrance of the day. So hopefully you enjoyed this most requested look. I will have everything listed and linked down below per usual. Let me know if you have any questions, and be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.